Alright, and I am back here, still in Kisogo, with my Agent Aura available to continue on my new player missions. This time we're gonna be destroying a fuel depot. So we're gonna go ahead and accept the mission.
Your next trial involves combat. In order to survive, you will need to fit modules to your ship. To begin, access the station's fitting services.
And as the nice little tutorial explained, we'll be going into the fitting menu.
Your ship needs to be fitted with a weapon and a shield booster module. Both of these are being provided to you now. Your weapon is capable of dealing high amounts of damage at close range. The small shield booster is your defensive module. When activated, it will restore a small amount of your ship's shields. You will not be able to keep it running constantly though, so only use it when you have to.
And they've given me an item that I do not yet have the skills for. Surprisingly, a new Caldari player doesn't necessarily start with the shield operations skill. Let's see how much that'll cost us. Unfortunately, it's far more than we currently have. So while I only have my 5500 ISK, it would require 29,000 ISK and a few jumps to actually be able to buy the shield operations skill and then begin training it. So we will have to wait, it looks like.
Drag the weapon onto your ship in the fitting area.
So as you
It
saw, I
will
already
fit
dragged the
into the
weapon.
appropriate slot automatically. Do the same with your defensive module. When you are ready, undock.
Now, the one thing that does surprise me is they have not given me any ammo, from what I can tell. Uh, which is very much required for this weapon. So I'm going to go ahead and just follow along with the tutorial and see if they give me my ammo in space, perhaps. I'm a bit surprised that they didn't offer the civilian version of the weapon and shield booster. Every module has a civilian version which requires no skills, no ammo, is incredibly easy to fit. Of course, they're practically useless because of all those things, but still surprised they didn't offer that for the new player. And we'll go ahead and warp to our encounter.
Warp drive active.
In our wallet, it's a lot of nice features in here to see where your money is coming from and going to. Transactions would be things that were bought and sold off the market, as opposed to the journal, which is really just going to show absolutely everything, including our 5,000 ISK that we got as a starting player, and then
All
500 ISK that
weapons
we
require
got for our
ammunition
first
to
mission.
fire. You are now being provided with close-range ammunition. Load your weapon now.
And it looks like they have magically placed some ammo inside of my ship, so if we right-click on our ship, and it's actually not working, if we go into our inventory, we can see they did put 500 antimatter charges in there. So I can just right-click, choose the charge, and my weapon will go ahead and load.
The type of ammunition you load affects the range at which your turrets can hit. You can access detailed information on your weapon. Activate the acceleration gate and proceed to the next area when you are ready.
Warp drive
So they've given us
active.
antimatter charges for our one blaster, which is a high damage, low range ammo. And by doing a show info on our weapon, we can see that our
Good work so far. Next, we need to do a weapons check before we send you into live combat. You should see a fuel depot nearby. Before you can fire on it, you must lock on with your own targeting systems. Get a target lock, close your range, and then open fire.
So they've put us right on top of this fuel depot at 420 meters. Our optimal range in our weapon is 550 meters, so we're basically right at the perfect spot for it. we'll click on our weapon and start blowing up the fuel depot. And how about that? So it looks like we're doing damage just fine. Let's hope we don't get shot at too much, considering the complete lack of... Speaking of damage, they've gone ahead and wiped out our shield. And without a shield booster, that's going to only come back very, very slowly. So let's hope that I don't get shot at too much in the next area. And I went ahead and activated the gate. It's going to go ahead and approach
Warp
automatically
drive
and
active.
warp for me.
You've taken damage from the nearby explosion. You should repair your ship now with the defensive module you fit. Heads up, pilot. You have 2 hostile ships inbound to your location. You should see them represented in your overview. Let's take care of them now.
So I controlled click on the first hostile. I'm going to go ahead and choose to orbit. I hope I chose 500 meters. Unfortunately, it's giving me this helpful bubble. There we go. So we're going to choose to orbit it at 500 meters. Just going to put us right on top of him. And then we'll start shooting him with our blaster. Fortunately, he is pretty soft and not hitting us for a whole lot, so we'll make short work of him without the shield booster. I'm going to go ahead and approach his wreck. Oh, looks like our next hostile is here. I will get him locked up. Although right now he's at 17k, so I can't shoot him yet. But he is closing quickly. Turn on our blaster. And doesn't even seem like I'm going to have to bother orbiting. Normally you'd want to orbit
Good
always
work.
and be
The
constantly
area has been
moving.
cleared of hostile targets. Warp back to the station and dock to complete the mission.
Both of the wrecks have no loot inside of them, unfortunately. As I was saying, normally you'd always want to be moving whenever you're in a fight. The quicker you're moving, the less damage you'll take, the less hits you'll take. But in this case, they weren't really doing any damage, so movement was unnecessary. Frigates especially, smaller ships like I'm in now, rely almost entirely on their speed and small size to avoid damage, and in fact can be useful against even very large ships because of those characteristics.
Docking permission requested. Docking request accepted.
Contact me through the agent's menu to complete the mission.
And we completed our second mission. We now have another 500 ISK. Our ship has its first module. We have a second module, which unfortunately we can't fit yet. And we've gotten into our first combat, so that should be a good stopping point. Hopefully in our next video I'll be able to start earning more than 500 ISK at a time. I can get that shield operations book and even better fit our new ship.